down in the bottom right-hand corner of ESV Ohana, we have our red Zerg player from SlayerS. It is Miya. And his opponent in the upper left-hand corner from Incredible Miracle, winner of the last 3 games in a row, it is LosirA.
Yep. So the question is, will LosirA continue his reign of terror, or will the Miyan calendar say it's doomsday for LosirA?
Is it December 2012 for LosirA right now?
What is that date? What's
I
the date
don't
then?
know what the exact date is. I know it's
December
supposed
21st?
Yeah, it's something
is?
like that.
It's
It's supposed to be at the end of this year.
I survived Y2K. I
Yeah.
can survive Y212.
I survived that crazy guy from Oakland who got a lot of attention because he said it was the Judgment earlier last year, I think it was. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we survived that, too.
Yeah. I thought I was moving away from those sorts of people, moving out of Missouri, but no, apparently he was based in Oakland, so.
Dude, I feel like there's way more crazy people here than in the Midwest.
There are, you know what I found actually? There's just crazy people everywhere.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's just a crazy world we live in, but that makes it interesting, which is fine.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's always good to fear for your life every now and again, so that's toughens you up.
I wouldn't be afraid.
Yeah.
I'm just chilling out, man.
That's true.
Well,
no one would want me in their
I'm glad we
afterlife,
had that
though, I
little
have
talk
to say.
about life.
Yes.
I feel like we've gotten to know each other a little bit better there in the last couple minutes.
Isn't it cute?
It was great.
Yes.
And
great. Then there were spawning pools.
Yes, spawning pool first, not hatchery first, which makes sense. Ohana is a little bit of a smaller map, but we still see a lot of hatch first on it anyway.
Yep, and gas coming up for Miya at the moment. LosirA just going to go ahead and expand in just a second, getting that pool out a little bit earlier, though. But as we can see, Miya, he's going to expand too, but going to be getting that gas and thus Zergling speed quite a bit faster than LosirA will.
Yeah. And, I mean, this is a type of map, too, where it's a little bit of a larger ramp. It's not terribly hard to defend against this type of all-in or that really early baneling aggression, but, you know, you do still have to worry about it a little bit anyway. Overlord's already in position to kind of scout for that stuff. Yep, hatchery. Nothing to worry about. So we're probably going to see drones being produced until the queens get out to chase the overlords away. And that's usually nowadays when you see the first Zerglings made. So players have kind of figured out that because of the speed of overlords, they don't even really need to make those first couple Zerglings early on, which is kind of cool. It lets you get your economy going a little bit better, which is nice.
Well, Zergling speed now popping out for Miya, and has he stopped gas? No, not at all. Just continuing to power ahead with 3 drones on gas. So something's going to hit for him soon, whether it's quick roaches, whether it's going to be that very aggressive banelings that we've seen. That very aggressive banelings. That doesn't even make any sense. That very aggressive baneling nest.
It sounds like
if
a
it's
sitcom
going to be
coming to you this fall on
that aggressive baneling.
That aggressive baneling. Ray Romano as that aggressive baneling.
Oh, God. I wish I could do a good Ray Romano accent right now. But
hey, guys. I can't believe these banelings.
Oh.
I can't do a Ray Romano impression. I give up.
Not again. Not on the lawn. Anyway. But
what
that aggressive baneling.
That aggressive baneling this fall on... Thank goodness it's not IPL casters doing sitcoms.
That's a fact. Well, baneling nest coming up for LosirA as well. A little bit behind his opponent, but the map is so long, of course, by the time banelings would make their way out for Miya across the map. Should be up and in position for LosirA, although with a much earlier Zergling speed, Miya's actually going to be across the map very quickly. You know,
I did actually have something worthwhile to say before we got sidetracked.
Oh, what was that?
We looked at when we saw that the drones were still on gas. Now, back in the day, yeah, absolutely, that would have meant some sort of aggressive all-in, but even though that might be what Miya's doing this time around, especially with the baneling nest, it doesn't necessarily mean that these days in ZVZs. Players have gone for such quick spires lately that it's very common to see lair tech a lot quicker in ZVZ because players want to take that third base faster. So that's also another reason that we're seeing a lot of players just simply leave guys on gas now too, which is kind of neat to see that change in what was such a standard in ZVZ, but looks like some damage being done here by Miya.
Yeah, not a lot standing in his way. Catches quite a few drones there. They're all very low. Just a few Zergling hits will be able to clear them out, but it looks like LosirA is able to stabilize for the time being.
And he's trying to target a few down, does a pretty good job of getting in there, but LosirA just barely able to defend. That was a close one, man. He almost took a big hit to his economy.
Did lose 5 workers, so that is still significant, but the worker count still in LosirA's favor. Every time in these ZVZs we see some aggression done to LosirA, he somehow finds a way to come out on top.
Yep, and speaking coming out on top. The Zerglings not doing that, but they do get some scouting.
Good kill there, actually. Great target fire from LosirA. And I know it was only one worker, but still, one worker for one Zergling is a trade that LosirA will make every day.
That's right. You know, I feel like the spine crawlers, when they hit Zerglings, don't even try to pierce them. They just kind of flatten them.
Yeah.
The spine is as big as the Zergling, so.
It's just like a big comical boot that just lands on top of them.
And SlayerS Miya using that early gas or that extra gas in the early game to go for that quick lair. He's got a Roach Warren on the way as well, so if he wants to, he can get a quick +1 and Roach upgrades too, which I wouldn't be surprised to see him doing in this particular situation.
And LosirA and Miya are both going to be on Quad Gas Lair Tech here momentarily.
Yeah.
Let's see. Roach Horn is just finishing for Miya. Taking a look back at LosirA's side of things. Nothing at all. Oh, double evolution chamber and Lair Tech. So
okay.
Some tech coming out of him very soon.
Yeah, it could be an Infestation Pit along with those double upgrades. Could also be a Spire as well, but we did see him have kind of a penchant for Infestors as well in the past. And there it is. Infestation Pit for Miya, rather. I got my production queues mixed up a little bit. And it looks like they're both, again, going for relatively standard builds here, just a little bit accelerated.
Yeah, getting that tech nice and early, not taking unnecessary risks by getting a third right away. So, although both players are droning up quite heavily, so they will be able to immediately saturate a third when they eventually do take them.
Well, it's kind of interesting. I mean, it seems like we're seeing sort of a hybrid ZVZ right now that's sort of like halfway between the new and the old metagame. You know, we're seeing that quicker lair, but we're not seeing a lot of the tech choices that go along with the newer styles of ZVZ. We're still seeing, you know, pretty standard Roach stuff. What LosirA is doing with the double upgrades is a little bit different, but it's kind of interesting. I mean, it's kind of that mix of both, you know, that transitionary phase.
And both players have perfect ideas of what the other is doing. I mean, the Overseers did see everything. Oh, Zergling's coming in right away. Miya is able to take a few of those out with a Baneling there, but LosirA still going to be able to scout this and react appropriately, putting up a third himself.
Yep. That's right. Burrow on the way for LosirA, which is going to be kind of helpful. It's always good to be able to burrow your Infestors and move them around, and also burrow your Roaches and regen some health with that. That's going to be coming in useful a little bit later in the game, I'm sure. But the upgrades are really going to be nice for LosirA. He's going to have that carapace, and he's going to be keeping up in attack upgrades, which is just going to be really, really handy for him. He's also going to have probably a little bit higher Roach count than his opponent will. His opponent went for Infestors a little bit quicker, and Infestor upgrades a little bit quicker, so while his Infestor count will be slightly higher, he may have a little bit of a hard time with the Roach numbers from LosirA, but it all comes back to how aggressive the player wants to be. ZVZ doesn't really follow a lot of rhyme or reason with this. Yeah, it's all, you know, at this point, it's all operating a lot on feel, too. You know, when the player decides it's a good time to attack and move out.
It seems like we could have a similar situation to last game, though, where, you know, Miya, if he decides to move out, could potentially get in and try and do some damage, but then LosirA is just going to be able to swing right back with better upgrades, a better overall composition. Now, if LosirA decides to get aggressive, that kind of completely flips it on its head, because Miya's going to have the better reinforcement distance. He already has the Infestors in place, so a little bit riskier proposition there.
What's the Roach count right now for each player? Okay, it is going to be higher for LosirA, so this is what I was mentioning. By waiting for the Infestors a little bit longer, he's going to be able to just kind of come in at a good timing upgrade-wise, and it looks like Miya's going to have some really nice fungals to hold this off. So far, it's looking pretty good.
Yeah, actually does capture quite a few forces there, but not able to finish them off or not wanting to expend the energy on those Infestors quite yet.
He does have Burrow, too, so, and yeah, it looks like there's a changeling there, but so he is going to be able to regen a lot of health on those Roaches, get away if need be, so LosirA not in too much danger right now.
And if that, if this Overseer actually moves over to the left, or if it did a second ago, could have been some considerable damage done. Oh, he's so not able to catch it, though. Just one hit point remaining.
Oh, he does get one. Yeah, not worth it, but it's he did lose a lot of Roaches to get one Infestor, but that was almost a really nice move from LosirA there.
So
that was almost like a ninja kind of jumping out of the shadows.
I know.
Taking out some diplomat that a bunch of guards are trying to protect. That's the impression that I got. See, when I watch StarCraft, it's much more exciting for me.
Man, that imagination is pretty awesome. Interesting developments, I say. No, I'm just messing with you.
That's right. It is an interesting development.
What we actually do have A relatively interesting development as Miya is considerably ahead in supply right now. Back in upgrades, but about to finish +2 attacks. So when that +2 attacks finishes up, we'll have a, you know, the Carapace is going to do a little bit better for LosirA, you know, point for point, but it's still going to be very, very close. And Miya is going to have very high tech as well, especially with that Hydralisk den coming online.
Yeah, adding Hydras on in the later part of his EVZ is always a good thing to do. In most cases, it is nice to have that extra damage, and if you can keep your Infestors alive, you can have a large amount of Hydras and a decent Infestor count as well with that, and not need to worry about continuing to spend the gas to remake those.
So annoying right there is that Roach does burrow, tries to jump up and do some more damage, but is relatively unsuccessful.
Yeah.
All right, well, here we have it. It's 3 bases up for each player at the moment. These changelings sitting around. Perfect time to pick up. That drone could actually turn around and kill the changeling, but looks like he's going to let the roaches do it for him.
He's like, I'm about to become a building. I can't spend the energy to do this.
I can't be bothered. I don't know why he just took that accent, but that is an interesting drone. Was that a fungal on a changeling?
It may have been.
I don't know. I actually think it was the roach, but it looked like it.
Yeah. Whoa. Wow. Changelings everywhere. It's an infestation of changelings. How ironic.
Oh, God.
Well, the Hydras are out, and LosirA needs to be very, very careful with how he uses these fungals here. He wants to keep those Hydralisks away from where they can do a ton of damage. And Miya right now with a nice supply lead, too. So still a very even ZVZ here. Our SlayerS players seeming to have a slight advantage at the moment, but
yeah,
things could change rapidly. It is ZVZ.
Miya, of course, going to banking, or I should say banking quite a few resources, should be able to produce as many roaches as he has larvae available eventually. And gets a cancel on this base as well. At the same time, LosirA going to counterattack, and Miya actually coming back at the moment. LosirA, though, is max now.
Whoa, LosirA getting crazy with these roaches. He's going to run right into the natural, it looks like. What is he doing? He's splitting up the roaches, trying to do little bits of damage here and there, killing all the queens. That's a nice little move, reducing those injects and the roaches coming in and going after whatever they can. This is purely a queen assassination squad, it looks like. That's kind of cool. I don't know how well it's going to work out. He used a lot of roaches to do it, but it will reduce the larva count, certainly, after Miya uses this.
No queens at all for Miya up at the moment.
Mission
Miya actually going to move forward and attack. How many larvae are sitting out there? 28 for Miya, so he does still have quite a bit remaining. It is going to be able to overrun the initial group of forces here. We'll see if LosirA can come back, though. Energy going to be traded for energy in a second. Oh, what are those Infestors doing?
Oh, man, that was huge for LosirA, taking out all those Infestors. That's going to be expensive to replace. Miya making a bunch of roaches right now, LosirA a bunch of roaches, as well as Miya having to spend a bit of money on some queens. So again, you know, he did have some larvae built up, but those are pretty much used up at this point. He's got 12 left, but he needs to ration them almost.
Now, LosirA is still down a base, and unfortunately doesn't look like he's going to quite be able to get this. Burrows those forces, and he's going to call back that Overseer, but not too much done.
Yep. And Miya is kind of hanging out, making sure that his 4th base survives. Oh, but the roaches come back up again.
Wow, I'm surprised that Miya bit on this as much. I mean, he should have been sitting there, but unfortunately looks like he may pay for it with a hatchery. Down to 140 hit points. LosirA gets the hatchery.
Man, he gets it, but Miya winning this little fight in the middle. Those roaches are going to need to make a run for it. Might be a good time to burrow for LosirA as well. Both players going for Hive now.
Yeah. But LosirA is going to be sitting on his 4th base momentarily, so it'll actually be a base up. And the roaches that were inside of his opponent's base are still there and doing damage.
Man, LosirA just kind of giving Miya a little bit too much to handle at this point, it looks like. That's some serious damage. There's still roaches being annoying. They're going down to the 3rd base now. Going to see if he tries to go after a queen, possibly going after the extractor. That helps a little bit too. Reduce the gas amount that your opponent is taking in. That does hurt their later game tech. That's going to need to get canceled.
It will, but LosirA is actually kind of all-out or attack mode. He does have quite a few roaches sitting there now. Has been able to slightly take the supply advantage. LosirA has been managing this quite well. Oh, if he saves this base, it would be amazing.
Here we go. If he takes out Miya's army right here, that could be it. But Miya has the high ground. He has a lot of Hydras. He's got a good amount of roaches and Infestors as well. Huge attack front that both players are fighting on right now. But all the roaches of Miya are getting so low.
Yes, they are, and LosirA starting to jump out with some reinforcements. He's actually killed a couple of bases himself, as we can see. Hatchery's starting to get pretty low there, and he did kill the natural. Miya may be able to take out this base, though. LosirA needs those reinforcements quick.
Yeah, he does, and when they pop out, he could potentially kill these roaches really quick, but man, that army is so strong right there. The Hydralisk's just adding a ton of damage.
Okay, well, we'll see if these Infestors going to be able to pop up and do anything. Oh, yeah, throwing down a few forces, but a Fungal actually captures everything up at the top.
Man.
LosirA, though, did get those forces very, very low, so Miya doesn't have a lot of life left over, and LosirA's up by 60 supply.
Yeah, the Infestor attrition was pretty high, but LosirA somehow defending that and killing the Queens and killing the Hatcheries back at his opponent's base has managed to get a really, really nice lead here. He's still got that Roach killing off drones. It's not going to last much longer, but man, LosirA just seems unbeatable today.
I am so impressed by LosirA this series.
Yeah,
he
no
is
kidding.
just, I mean, he was at a disadvantage in a lot of his games, but has just found a way to keep himself composed, come back, and just destroy his opponents. And right now, he's still at a huge advantage. It's certainly a position, Miya on 4 bases, that he can try and stabilize, maybe find a way back into this. They are sitting on equal upgrades at the moment, but LosirA is just looking unbeatable.
Yeah, I mean, he keeps doing these little Roach counterattacks. I mean, every drone he takes out is a drone that Miya needs to remake now at this point. 54 workers going down. He's down to 36 total, and so using Larva for that sort of thing while you're trying to replace your army and just stay alive, and you're down on Queens too, is a really difficult position for Miya to be in right now. And LosirA coming down the map with what could end up being the death push. The supply is really in his favor.
Okay, well, he starts to go to work on this hatchery. Oh, the Infestor dies before it's ever able to do anything, and now LosirA can lock down so many units. This Infestor up at the back really didn't do anything, caught a couple of roaches, and LosirA has just taken his 4th game in a row for incredible miracle. He is 1 game away from all killing Slayers.
No kidding.